what's good, bro? I was just checking in with you.
What's good, y'all? Happy holidays. Happy winter. How y'all feeling? Hope you're cozied up on that couch, feeling warm, sipping a nice warm cup of cocoa. But anyway, the guys are back. We're here to give you some holiday cheer.
Right.
No, what's good, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What's good, bro? We are checking in again with the people.
Yeah, it's crazy. You mentioned cocoa, bro. I don't think cocoa will be my drink for the winter, bro. I think I'm gonna stick with the tea. I think I'm gonna stick with the tea, bro.
Yeah, I'm not really a hot cocoa drinker, I'm not gonna lie. Like if it's like that type of vibe, like this is a hot cocoa night and everybody just drinking hot cocoa. Why did I say that slow? Why did I slow down? I said hot cocoa. Why did
Yeah,
I do that? But no, if everybody drinking hot chocolate and eating s'mores and shit, that's the vibe. I'll drink hot chocolate, but yeah, you know me, I'm a tea person, my guy. Every
yeah.
day or all day.
I'm usually a hot cocoa person. I don't even call it hot cocoa. That's crazy. I'm usually a hot chocolate person,
Mm,
but honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Since I ain't been going to Starbucks no more, I ain't really been getting hot chocolate like that.
mm.
So I
Starbucks hot
just
chocolate?
Starbucks does have hot. That's the hot chocolate I usually prefer. Me personally, but
I feel it.
you know, is what it is. Anyway, more important matters. Today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about trust, respect, and then a little bit about failure and success as well. We feel like these are topics that have come up probably at some point in multiple of the episodes we've already dropped. But I don't know. We kind of at the end of the year. I won't say it's I guess you call it a review, if you will, if you want to. But yeah, seeing if we feel any differently or look at these things a bit differently as we are rounding out this most recent year of life, which it's been a doozy for both of us. I feel like we talked about, so I do think it'll be a little bit interesting. But this first question we got though, I don't know. I'm really interested to ask you this because I don't think I've asked you this straight up, and I know I have my assumption, but I also feel like I know that you have this short leash with trust, so I'm really interested. But how long does it take you to trust someone, and can someone regain trust that has been lost from you?
Okay. As far as like how long did it take me to gain for someone to gain trust? I pretty much trust you right away. Like you got my trust as
Mm,
long like if I think you're a good person, I think you're a good person. So whenever whatever you slip up or do something, that's when I start to question you. But you don't completely
mm,
lose it until I find out, whether or not you're a bad person or whether or not you're lying to me or whatever the case the scenario is. Um, but yeah, that's how I move with that. And as far as like the second half of the question, when you were saying, can someone regain their trust? For me, I don't know. Like I don't really kick it with too many people that like then lost my trust. Like if you lost my trust, it was a wraps. Um, I guess my mom's like it was a funny situation where it was like
mm,
some a situation where trust was faulted, I guess.
mm.
Uh, that would be the only case and scenario, but that's my mom. It's like, man, how you folding your mama type shit, or how your mom's folding you type shit. But I don't know. That would be the only scenario where it's like, all right, bro, like I can forgive my mama for some shit type shit because it's like, all right, like she ain't mean to offend me the way she offended me type shit. So like, all right, I get it.
Yeah. Do you do you feel like good like being a good person is the like that's just the foundation for trust? Like you said, as long as somebody is a decent person, there's this base level of trust that either can be built upon or it can diminish depending on just what that person stays honest to.
Yeah, I mean that's for me. That's all I'm basing it around. Like if I meet you or if I meet you through somebody and they be like, oh yeah, this is my friend, or like, oh yeah, such and such is cool. I'm like, all right, they cool people. I ain't got no reason to think otherwise until you do some shit to make me think otherwise. Like, and
Yeah.
that may be childish and immature, but it's like, why go around thinking everybody in the world is just a fuck person or like, some bullshit with you? I mean, think more optimistically about people. And I like to think like, shit, not everybody is on bullshit. Like, there are good people in the world. Like, And then there are people that are misunderstood or just might not have shit they do, like, might not have any evil towards you, but not have any good towards you either. They just don't care about you. They out here doing their own thing. So it's like, I don't know. Like if I meet you and you seem cool, you seem cool. And then if you do some shit that's weird or some other shit, it's like, all right, now you weird. Like, but yeah. But what about you though, bro? Like how you feel like you move with that?
I think I just look at it a little bit differently. I think I don't necessarily base how I look at the person in terms of good or bad, in terms of like, do I trust them? I get the idea that like, since you're a good person, I have no reason to think negatively or to not trust you because you haven't shown me a reason not to. But I think, at least in my experience, I've trusted very easily. So I've seen how kind of trusting somebody because I get that good vibe, or trusting somebody because I feel like they're a good person, it don't even necessarily mean that they did something malicious. It was just more so me learning the lesson of you can't trust everybody, even if it's in regard to specific information.
I mean, I guess like for me, it would be level of trust though. Is more so, I guess, the question I would then ask because I'm like, I ain't going around talking to everybody about everything.
Right.
So when I just heard the question initially, I just thought like, trust in the sense of like trust them enough too. Now
Mm,
you can fill in the blank with, however much information you're gonna give it to, but
right.
the general basis of like trust is built off of what I was saying and shit like that. But
Got you. No, that makes sense.
there's different levels to that for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, when you get to that level to where there's an expectation of trust, if you want to tie loyalty into that, and that's not
Mhm.
just like, of course, in romantic relationships, even if it's like a friendship, but once you reach that level of there being an expectation of trust, I think that's where it's more so how long does it take, because you could look at that and like how long it may take to like really really trust your partner. But then also, even with the homies, like how long does it take before you really like trust the homie with something? But that's different, because I think about how like the joke of how easily men can become friends. Like men can be cool with the nigga they hoop with, once a week or whatever the case may be, or be cool just because they both into this football team or this
But
sports
that's what
team,
I
whatever
mean
the
though.
case may
Like
be.
the homie that I hoop with, I trust that nigga enough to show up every week and hoop the same way that nigga been hooping since we started hooping. Outside of that,
Nice.
I don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I trust if we go to hoop at some random court and the shootout come out, I trust that we gonna both make it back to the car. Like beyond that, I don't know, but I do trust that nigga. So there's a level of trust there, type shit.
That's
But
real.
that's the level.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we talking relationship, like intimate partner, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be, what's the length you feel like where you trust them with? I don't know what you really want to call it, because it's still layers to that as well. But I guess where you trust them with like you to
I mean,
whatever the max level that is for you.
I guess for me, it depends on introduction of the relationship
Mm,
because in the sense of like, if I have, say, I've known a girl for years, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it's like we've always known each other. We might even be friends or cordial or whatever, have some type of level of relationship to where it's like we're not super heavy on the talking,
Mm,
communicating and shit like that, but hi, bye, hug, might see each other at a party, dance a little bit, share a blunt, something. But nothing more than that. But at the same time, if I was to start pursuing her, it's like, all right, like you kind of know me.
mm,
So for us to kind of like have that mutual respect of kind of knowing each other and seeing each other throughout the years, probably seeing each other deal with bullshit and shit like that, I would expect you to respect me enough not to do certain shit if you gonna start fucking with me.
that's real. That's real as
So,
hell.
so I would trust that you wouldn't do certain shit type shit off the rip. It's like I'm not expecting that out of you type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you done
Yeah.
been around me kind of. Like I'm not expecting that out of you. Now, on the same hand, it's like if I was to meet a girl at the club tomorrow and she don't know me from Craig and Data, I can't really call it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if the vibes is there, it's like I'm trusting you because I'm gullible right now. And the vibes is here. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't
Mm,
really thinking about where I trust you at. But if I was to
yeah.
sit down and be like, "Hey, bro, you trust her?" Like, damn, nigga, like I was feeling good and just vibing. Like I'm not thinking about whether I trust her, and I'm not thinking about what
Yeah.
she's doing. I'm not none of that. Like, damn, you didn't have to make me tune in on that. But in reality, it's like, that's kind of shaky.
No, facts. Big facts.
But yeah, bro, I guess it like that's when I don't know. Everything is case and scenario. Like different shit depend on different shit for me, bro.
That's real. I could definitely understand that. I think the introduction of the relationship is key. I think because I've been in like multiple relatively long relationships, I feel like I got a good like gauge on at least what it takes for me.
Mm.
But also as we get older, that changes because if I was looking at my relationships in the past, I would feel like it took within 6 months to a year, like to trust somebody. But that's also not including what may have been like the talking phase leading up to actually being together type of deal. So anywhere between like a year and a half, you know what I'm saying? But it gets to a point where I'm also trusting that as I evolve and as I, grow and change and get older and become different versions of myself, that I'm trusting that, you stay solid through that journey also, as I would expect you would be, looking for me to do the same or wanting to have the trust in me to do the same. So it's kind of hard because you can't really put a number on it. But I think that regardless of whatever the number is, because even if you look at a number that's considered small, like 6 months or a year in retrospect, it's still this
Mhm.
idea that like it, and of course it's different for different people, but it takes a lot of work to trust and get comfortable and put faith in somebody because they have to show up time and time again, like basically proving that like, yeah, like I stood on what I said, or I said I was gonna be here and I was here, or I said I got you and I got you. And that gotta happen like a decent amount of times in different scenarios, I think, for most people to really be like, all right, like, nah, I trust you when it comes to me. Like, I trust you not to do the things that's going to like really trigger me, or I trust you not to do the things or, act in a way that is going to trigger a sore spot, like stuff like that. So it is hard to put a number on it, but I definitely think
Yeah.
case scenario is key. And I don't know, regaining it, that just depends on the person, how healed they are, how much they want to forgive you, I guess. But
Yeah, bro. For me, I don't think I can. I don't think that
what stops you from being able to?
in the relationship aspect, like intimate relationship, I guess, boyfriend, girlfriend type shit. But no, I tried like any other young dumb motherfucker to like, allow somebody to regain my trust and shit. And for me, I guess I'm just too immature and insecure for that shit. It's like how the fuck, like okay, now everything is just cool. But now I'm realizing a lot of extra shit that was just going on that I didn't fucking realize. And then it's like all this bullshit was going on. I didn't know that bullshit was going on. Now that bullshit's on the table. But that's the only bullshit I know about. How did I know that? All the rest of this shit isn't bullshit also.
Mm.
Now all this shit looking funny in the light. I flip this whole over. You feel me? Like,
It be like
no,
this though. It
no,
be
but
like
real shit though, bro. Like it's just it's too mind-boggling. So where it's like, I I I honestly can't trust you anymore. Like you
yeah.
broke that. Like I probably could in the friendship aspect, but I can never trust you again
Mm.
as my lover because you broke that. Once that shit is broken, it's like it's just not as special anymore, I guess. That may be childish, but I don't know.
I don't think it's childish. I think for some people that perspective changes or evolves as they get older, maybe as the circumstances or situations change. But I don't think it's immature to think that way because I think that, like I said, because of what it takes for the average person to really trust somebody with something, like if I trust you and let you in that sense to have access to me in a particular way, like I always say it's like this. When you like are really trusting somebody and you really love somebody, you are essentially telling them all the things that could break you. And you're trusting that they're not going to do that. So if they in fact do that, it's like, nah, you literally used what I gave you against me, and you knew that I trusted you not to do exactly what you did. There isn't. I mean, it happens, but I'm saying like it's really hard to come back for that. It depends on the people, depends on the situation, relationship, where they at as a unit, individually. Like it depends on a lot of shit if it's gonna turn around positively. But I wouldn't call it immature, bro. I think that's just very realistic. Like it's certain scars that you just can't, that person that caused the scar can't heal, you know. So I don't think it's immature to look at it that way. I think that's just
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, some people will look at it as immature. I think that I'm very effective in setting my boundaries and limitations of what I can handle and what I can't handle and putting that out there in the beginning. And then once that shit is disrespected and neglected, it's like, all right, well, you said fuck me. How can I not say fuck you too?
Yeah. And honestly, that's most important. Like the boundaries of it are important as well, because as a response to it, those boundaries are key, because it's also somebody has to understand what they did, or at least that's the hope. That's also quick sidebar, quick side note. I've realized that about myself, bro. I've realized that my desire to be understood, or my desire for understanding, has been like a huge kryptonite, because like you think that the good person, right, will at least understand, or at least take the time to try to understand, like, yo, like this is what I'm responsible for, this is what I did, and I truly get the position I put you in, how I made you feel, and I respect what you have to do because of that. And I found that for me, when that wasn't happening, like in situations in my past, like it that was the one thing that bothered me. It wasn't accepting anything else. It was this idea that like, nah, you not understanding what happened, or you not understanding how this made me feel this way, or put me in this position of not being able to do ABC. That's tough. Like you not getting that kind of makes a lot of it feels like it's for nothing. Kind of makes this pain I have, this hurt I have, feel pointless. You know what I'm saying? But that's still very much me in my own way, because I can't rely on, you know, somebody else
Yeah,
understanding because I think they should or want them to. But that was an epiphany I had this week. So throw that out there.
proud of you, son.
Gotta chill. Gotta chill. But no, the next question really though goes hand in hand with everything we've been talking about so far. And we both agreed that it was a really great question. But which do you trust more? Your heart, your brain, or your gut?
Sometimes it's my dick, but
Clearly you don't, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never
clearly I don't what.
mind. Say clearly you don't trust if you don't. I mean,
I do trust it. That's why I don't wear.
anyway, anyway, go ahead, man.
For me, I think, bro, honestly, like on some real shit, I'll probably go with my heart first. Like sadly, I ignore my brain a lot.
Mm.
Sometimes shit isn't realistic. Sometimes shit is going to be tough. But the heart wants what the heart wants. I'm a believer of, eventually this love should work out. So yeah, I usually lean with the heart first.
Interesting. Interesting. I I think it's kind of the same. I don't know if I trust my heart more. I know that's what I follow more, but I know a lot of times I followed it knowing I didn't trust what may happen.
That make that you're right. I think I trust my gut, honestly. I just ignore it.
Truly, truly. Because I honestly, now, what do you think the difference is between the gut and the brain?
See,
Because
like for me, it's like, okay, I guess the gut for me is the doubt.
okay,
Or or not even the doubt, but the possibility of.
okay,
Because in some situations, it's like I don't doubt it, but nigga, there's a high chance that this shit just could not be what you think it is. Like this shit could
yeah,
whole ass just be some other shit, and you just not. I know you thinking positively, but like nigga, this might not be that. Like,
right, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
because even with like dating a chick or whatever, like sunshine and rainbows, you feel me? And it's like one of your guys hit you with some shit and it's like, damn, her?
Mm,
Like, for real?
mm,
And you want to be like, but I know her. Like, we've been kicking it. We've been
yeah,
like, I feel like she wouldn't do that shit to a nigga. Like, but then it's like, but you can't put shit past nobody. Like,
yeah,
that's the gut. Like the gut is right there. Like you can't put shit past nobody. Like
yeah,
that's not your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like your brain, that's obvious, to your brain type shit, but that's your gut. Like your gut is like your conscience, I guess, in a sense. Like your gut is that extra, hey bro, like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, like wake up
yeah.
type shit.
I agree. I agree. I think the battle is often between the heart and the gut more than I don't think the brain is involved a lot when it comes to trusting it. Cause at the end, like I feel like the brain is more so about whatever decision you make. But in terms of like trusting that decision, that's gonna come down to your heart or your gut in terms of you trusting whatever, like whichever one is telling you. But but yeah, no, that's uh eh, it's interesting. But I think that that aspect of with every situation, there's always gonna be it's always gonna come down to well, what could be and like not even so much what's the worst thing that could happen, but just more so trying to prepare for like what you want to happen, not to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like being prepared for that, like managing that expectation. So it's tough. Next question though, for you specifically, what does it mean to lose respect for somebody? Like, what does that mean to you? What type of experience is that for you?
For somebody to lose respect, they just would have to show me that they're not the person that I thought them that they were, or that they're. And I ain't saying I'm the best person in the world, but you just not up to caliber with me.
Mm,
Like in a sense of like, I hold myself to a certain standard. I think all of my friends are a certain quality of men. If I was to find out that any of my friends weren't that quality of men, it'd be like, damn, you really a bitch. And I mean that wholeheartedly.
I know you do. That's why I'm laughing.
Like, damn, like you really a bitch. Like I thought you was P. Like I thought you was player. We don't move like that. And I
Right.
mean, we like I like that's the respect level. Like we don't move like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like we don't do shit like that. Like we don't. So it's like if I find out you breaking that, it's like, all right, that's where I lose respect for a relationship or anything like that. It's like, all right, like the vision or whatever I thought you was, the person that you were painting yourself to be. If I find out any of that to be false, it's like, all right, I lost respect because it's like, what the fuck you sitting in my face lying to me for when I would have accepted you for who you were? Just allow me to know who you are.
Yeah.
And then we can balance the level of relationship we can be based off of who you are. But like, I ain't saying I'm about to commit to somebody that's about to be out here going crazy, but we can still safely. But you know, um, but yeah, bro.
Yeah. I think yeah, as far as the homies, like I definitely agree. I think it's this idea that, like you said, it's just a certain way that like our group of friends and men I like to consider myself cool with or that I associate myself with, that we act. And I mean, I hope people don't take that like super, super literal. Like all niggas got flaws, y'all. I ain't saying like all my niggas perfect, but there's a threshold of things where it's like that ain't about being perfect. That's about like that just ain't what we consider ourselves as men to do, to stand for, type of deal. So I definitely agree with that emotion of like, damn, like you really, like you said, you really ain't P. Like you really not like I thought, and that's crazy because it does change your whole perception
Hey,
and
and
perspective.
that's why I be saying don't associate me with certain niggas. You don't see them
Facts.
pictures on my page. You don't see me in no pictures with them niggas. I'm not friends with them niggas. Now my friends might be friends with them niggas, but
Yeah,
me personally, I don't associate with them niggas. So
yeah,
don't associate me with them niggas. Thank
facts.
you.
Yeah, but in regards to the relationship, I don't know. I try really hard not to lose respect, right? Like
Yeah.
because I just feel like it takes so much for me to genuinely like not respect you as a person. Like that takes a lot for me. Like that takes a lot. So I try for that not to be the case, but for it to happen, I think it would just really, I think it would be somebody.
Hey, you wanna know some wild shit?
What's up, dude?
I had a crazy situation where it was like by the end of the situation, I was just like, you really just not nothing close to who I thought you were. I have lost all respect due to the fact of like the relationship had failed. That was whatever. Uh, it wasn't gonna be together. I had accepted that.
That's the thing. That's definitely where it's like, yeah, I don't even know how to look at you the same. And that happens in a lot of different ways. And I think that it really just come down to that's why I feel like the idea of yo, like, okay, like shit didn't go the way either of us thought. What at what capacity can you like mutually separate without being disrespectful or without just doing the most, right? It's not to say you're not supposed to feel your feelings, or it's not to say that you're not supposed to have emotions about things or take the time you need to do whatever. But I think the lose respect aspect comes in when you are making it difficult for the opposite, like for your partner, former partner, whatever. When you start making things difficult, whether that's intentional or not, to be honest, like post a situation, I think that's where it's like, why make this more difficult if there's a understanding of why this has to happen? Like that seems personal, that seems intentional. And so for me, that's where it's like, I feel like I lose respect in that situation. You know what I mean? But other than that, like I said in the beginning, I think losing respect just takes a lot of work. Like not respect you. It's one thing to look at you differently, right? Like
I think it when it gets. I think
yeah,
for me, bro, the point where I lose respect is it gets to the one point where it'd be like the audacity of like when I've accepted the fact that this is not going to be anything more than what it is, or it's not going to be anything any longer. It's like the audacity of you to think that I would do that for you when I know you don't care for me in the capacity that I need you to.
that
Like,
that
really? Like, you really thought I was about to get up out of my bed, out of my home, come to you and give you and provide you with whatever you need, whether that's food, a conversation, a shoulder to cry on. Let the imagination roam. Um, whatever may fall under the tree, you feel me? But I can't expect that out of you. I can't expect us to go anywhere further than this.
mm,
I can't expect you to be loyal, trustworthy, or someone that I can call my own.
mm.
So, why would I allow you to continuously bother me on my phone? I mean, sometimes I get these rhyming words, you feel me? No, but real shit though, like that's how I've been feeling, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. And the audacity do be crazy because I think that I mean there are people that genuinely just expect things to just happen. And I think that that's where it's like I just feel like it's a very naive way to look at things. It is something that could be like you could lose respect, you know, for somebody over that, depending on the lengths they take that to, but tragic nonetheless. Either way. Um, Last but not least, bro, I think both of our favorite question out of this batch, or at least the question we might have been the most um excited to talk about. But are you more afraid of failure or success, and why?
Me personally, I'm more afraid of failure.
Same.
And I mean, overall failure, not small L's. Like I'm used to taking small L's. I'm used to being at a certain level. I'm not used to making it. I'm not used to not making it either though.
Mm,
So like for me, it's like if I never make it, I never felt success. So I only felt these L's throughout the years. So what was the purpose of this at the end of it? Like if I only took L's and I never made it, like I I just wasted my life.
Was make
Like for me, making it at a certain level of like not just money, but like money for sure.
yeah,
But also like status in a sense of like not fame or anything like that, but like importance to the community, even if it's in a sense of like just my own like small community, but
yeah,
even if it's a more of a worldview too, like what if I'm a renowned writer or whatever, my books help people or like I don't know, something to do with psychology or some shit like whatever it is, just to have an impact on the culture overall, but also make some money, raise a good family, leave a impact and an imprint on this world. Um, which I really didn't care about when I was younger. But now that I'm getting older and like I'm reading more, starting to let certain things impact me more and affect me more. Um, yeah, bro, I can say that more afraid to fail, like overall fail,
mm,
than to succeed for sure.
I feel that. I don't think my answer changed, but like it's a lot of caveats. So I'm definitely more afraid to fail. But I know for me, I'm looking at failure in the sense of some of the small losses, like the losses along the way. I feel like I've had a balance of seeing certain L's turn to wins after a certain period of time. Like it may be a stretch of L's, but for the most part, ultimately they led to a win in some capacity. Um, but I think the failure, like the larger picture of failure, is like not getting over a hump to make it. You know what I'm saying? And getting older, realizing how much of that is in my power. Like there are people that don't have the greatest luck. There are people that have a harder road than others. But ultimately, we really do control our own destiny in the sense of there are opportunities. How far you go, to get those opportunities is ultimately up to you. But if you are doing everything that you can, I think you have to look at that, as success in some capacity. Because there's so many people that don't do everything that they can, that just choose to stay, in a routine or stay in a cycle that is them just on autopilot, not doing anything for themselves. Or there's people that unfortunately, aren't strong enough to surpass some of their own, struggles and things that, they deal with and don't and like take away the chance for themselves to even reach whatever their heights may be. So I think in some capacity, I don't like to look at making it as like the sole bar of success, if you will. But the overall idea of not getting over that hump or being stuck or staying in my own way, I definitely see that as a major failure because that's something that I can control, So I guess that's kind of how I look at it. But ultimately, I would still say like I'm more afraid of failure than success because I'm not afraid of what success would bring, whatever that means, like for me, part of success is being more comfortable anyway. So yeah, success isn't something that scares me, but not getting there, not living up to what I feel like my potential is, definitely scared of failure or more afraid of failure in that sense.
Yeah, I respect that. I think for me, I was just I guess I was looking at it more so from the perspective of like not in the sense of like the fame or anything or the recognition is important, but in the sense of like I guess that's how is niggas measuring this shit, I guess. Like
Yeah,
how are we measuring it? So I guess that was just the frame of measure I was using and shit.
no,
But
that's real. Niggas measure it differently, so
yeah.
definitely valid. But but yeah, I mean, even in wrapping up the year, bro, I mean, as far as like this whole trust, respect, and even how all that, kind of somewhat ties into, the idea of where you may feel like you succeed in that, where you may feel like you fail in that. do you feel like where you at now versus this time last year, do you feel like there's been a positive track, or a negative track in regard to your relationship or your feelings about, trust, about respect, about whether you feel like you're failing or succeeding even?
Man, shit, I feel like every year I grow as a person.
Mm,
Now, I feel like situations don't always pan out or like be able to show the growth that I had within myself type shit.
mm,
But I feel like every year I've gained a good level of experience, knowledge, and growth to be able to be like, all right, like I'm at this certain level type shit. And then, the relationship that I might have been in or whatever the fuck might have not made it to that level.
mm.
But that doesn't mean that I didn't gain knowledge from that experience just because that experience failed.
Yeah.
And
Nah.
just being able to separate those two things from each other and
Yeah. No, that's hella real. I think the one thing I'd add to that, is for me, it's like I agree with that. And I feel like that was like, partially my experience as well. But also the idea of like you said, when you make that, distinction, the execution of what your responsibility is now to take care of yourself and move forward. Like that individual growth that you feeling, that can't be stunted because you're only focused on the lack of growth of other things that didn't make it. So for me, that kind of execution on my part, is what I feel like maybe lacked within the last like year, if that's the time frame we're looking at. But definitely something in looking ahead for the next year. I would hope, this time next year, I'm looking at myself like, yeah, like nah, you were very intentional about executing, for you, So yeah, bro. Getting older definitely changes the perspective for sure. For damn sure.
yeah, definitely, bro.
But yeah, take us out, man.
All right, it's been a while. We're gonna do the same thing every time, like we always do it. This time we do this shit in style. It's been real. It's been chill. Sometimes I got wheels, tricks, and deals, but hey, I never got spills, and I do this thing because it is a thrill. And if you are real, then nigga, we real too. What the fuck? We ain't fucking with you weak ass hoes. And second of all, you bitch ass niggas, fuck y'all too. With that being said, it's been real, y'all. It's been chill, y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. Uh, peace.
Peace.